Thank you for joining us for Why I Love My CRM and Why You Love Yours Too, hosted by the Answer Management Services, where we support organizations, professionals, and businesses with strategy, systems, and solution. We are here today to talk about developing and managing customer relationships and what that can look like. And so, we want to talk a little bit about why sometimes we run and then we fall flat on our face, right? And so for our organization, before we had a systems, I was running in circles too. And so chaos looked like me meeting someone one day, and then next month, 2 months later, sometimes even 2 weeks later or a day later, running into the same person who said, "Hey, I was waiting for that follow-up email, or I was waiting for that phone call," or receiving and counting a stack of cards that seemed to just grow every single day. When those people were actually prospects that were looking to work with me. And so I know that it wasn't necessarily a reflection on the work that we do here at the Answer Management Services or TAMS or my team or myself. It was because I was not wearing my business owner hat. I was really focused on basically running a race I never trained for. I know what I to do. I know how to do things when it comes to project management and fractional operations. I'm your girl. But if it comes to some of the business development side, I had some work to do. And so we're here not to continue running in circles or falling on our face, but to start training for your business development season and ensuring that you no longer miss out on any of those opportunities, but also so that you no longer have to deal with any of those uncomfortable, awkward reunion moments. And so I want to introduce myself today. I'm going to be your track coach. I'm Rosin Joseph. I'm the Chief Efficiency Officer of the Answer Management Services. Again, where we support organizations and professionals with strategies, systems, and solutions. So I have spent the last few decades of my career, essentially helping organizations and people move through complex systems so that they can come out with a win. And usually, what that win looks like is then coming out with an idea or the light bulb moment, but making that and transitioning that from just that idea or aha moment to an actual project that's executed, launched, and live. And so, just so you know who's talking to you, I want to tell you a little bit about my background. I am a certified project management professional, also Lean Sigma, Six Sigma Black Belt. And so, what those things mean is that I love spreadsheets, I love quality, and I love ensuring that whatever we do, we're continuously improving. We have amazing systems and processes behind the scenes, and I'm not afraid of a good spreadsheet. I also work with nonprofit organizations, anywhere from a strategic planning to managing and supporting foundations with $100 million portfolio. I have worked with countless, at this point, hundreds of businesses with their small business development, ensuring that these businesses are not only just building businesses, but they're building businesses that are productive and profitable. And so I get hired by organizations, I get hired by nonprofit organizations, for profit, private industries, but also public entities and local municipalities and statewide to be able to bring this training to you live and in full effect. And I also teach people how to become project managers or better project managers than they are today. And at the end of the day, I am just a business owner, like many of you all who may be watching this video and this workshop and are interested in this workshop series. And so not only do I have this project and operations firms that really supports with execution and sustainability, but I also am the co-founder of Holistic Executive Suites, a wellness forward co-working space designed with wellness and medical providers in mind. And so now that you know a little bit about me, I would love to see in the YouTube comments a little bit about you all. Please introduce yourself. I'd love to connect with you. But the conversation, let's continue it. Where do service businesses lose the race? With a product, sometimes it's easy for us to click on a product, put our payment method in, and purchase that. But on the service-based side, it's a little bit different, right? And sometimes it's because we're losing work before we even get the work. And that may not seem like it makes sense, but these are the three things that I find that kind of circle and bubble up to the top, not just for myself, pre 17 Hats, which is my customer relationship manager, but for a lot of other service-based businesses that I support and engage with. One, they don't have a consistent intake process. So, what does that really mean? It means that there's no way for the people who are interested in me to really find and work with my organization. And so they really don't know which track, which lane to go into to be able to work with me. There's zero visibility into the pipeline. Well, what that does that mean? Well, it means that for the people that you want to work, the people that you want to service, the people that you want to offer things to, do you know who they are? Do you know where they live? Do you know how they like to communicate, how they engage with organizations that they are considering bringing on board to support them? And the chasing. The chasing cannot continue to happen. So follow up happens when you remember to do it. And so that means if you don't remember, then the follow up and follow through doesn't occur. And so when you put in and you consider um, being a service-based business, our business development is with us engaging with prospects, people that may not be aware of our services, but probably need them, and being able to follow up and follow through with our leads, the people who have expressed some sort of interest in our services. And so as we began defining what our different race legs look like, it's about really kind of making sure you have all of the things at the table. And that first thing was some inner work that we had to do. And that was just defining who we considered a prospect, who we considered a lead, and who were our actual clients, because it helped me to figure out the pace, how to communicate and close opportunities every single time that I was engaging with them. And when I say close, it's closing the loop. Hopefully, it's closing a contract, but it's also closing the communication loop to ensure that I'm also not prioritizing something that may not necessarily align with that business or with my organization as well. And so I don't really think these positions are interchangeable. They all have a specific role, right? So a prospect is someone who just doesn't know we're there, but um, I know that they need my services, but they don't know I exist. And so they're just watching from the stands and watching the race and see what happens. Whereas a lead is someone who said, hey, I've made contact with you. I am ready and I'm interested in what you have. And so then for me, the ball, it comes back to me where I need to kind of pick up the baton and continue with that follow up and follow through. And once I do that, I can get to the end and make them a client. And that means having an executed contract and getting secured payment. And so for the answer management services, for us, someone's a client with both of those things. So if we have a contract but no payment, I can't work, unfortunately, and I can't pay my team. So I need to have some sort of secure payment or plan in place. Or if I have payment but I don't have a contract, I know that the scope isn't fully defined. I don't know if we've necessarily agreed on what I will and will not be performing for you. And so having both of those things is going to be a key point of being successful with being able to call that person a true client. And the other piece is recognizing that not every race necessarily looks the same. And so I have a little bit of both in terms of client mixes, right? The sprint. This is going to be my one-off consulting. These are the people who say, hey, I want to ask you anything. I want to pick your brain for a session. I want to do a strategy call. Those are people that just need to be able to book me one time quickly, be able to pay for that session or be able to have a complimentary session. And then I deliver whatever they're asking for and they receive it and we're done, right? That's a beautiful journey, right? Then there's the marathon. Okay, that's where maybe I'm working on a proposal that's a significant size or time frame. Maybe those are my retainers, like what we do for our fractional operations services here at the Answer Management Services. And so I have to pace myself because the the cycle time, right? The amount of time that it takes for me to first engage to that client and then actually close out is going to be significantly longer than with some of my sprinters, right? I might be able to close out in less than a month, right? From the time I've met that person to we've completed whatever we needed to complete. to where I have a multi-year engagement when it comes to the marathon. And the field event is going to be specific sales and offers and services that I offer, right? That's a specific skill. I'm going to execute it precisely and repeatedly every single time. And so understanding this is going to be very important. And you may be saying, well, why do we have to focus so much on all this pre-work? I just want to see the systems and what that looks like. Well, you don't show up to race day without practice, right? We can't show up to the Olympics without having had some of that work and pre-work done because we're unconditioned, and our performance is going to show that. And so, what does the TAMS intake process really look like? Well, one thing we recognized early on, systems matter, right? And so, this is how we look at how every inquiry will reach our finish line based off of how we define it at our organization. Okay. And so when you're looking at this kind of chart here that we have in the pictorial, I have clients that come from my website, right? They find us on Google Business and they say, hey, we're interested in your services. I find them on social media because we have a viral moment, or there's business cards, whether that's a Blink account, whether that is a digital card, whether that's a physical card, or I meet them in person somewhere and I'm giving them information about who I am and how they can connect with me. Okay. And so all those different methods, they all somehow go directly, they're linked, they're sent to my website inquiry form. And when they go on my website and they inquire as to working with me, that's an actual 17 hats form. So that's my CRM, right? And many CRMs offer this. They have forms that are in there. You can take that same form, embed it on your website, put that link on social media, put the link in a QR code format and print it on your business cards. But you're driving that person to your customer relationship manager because this is how you choose to manage the relationship with that person. Same thing with consultations. I have both complimentary offerings and I also have paid offerings. All of those I used to manage either in Acuity, Calendly, Google. And then when I looked at my system, it offered that. And so again, I streamlined that to one system through 17 Hats, their scheduling feature. And so now, again, it goes through my scheduling feature. And again, I can do the intake through 17 Hats in another form. And so when I'm looking at my pipeline, when I'm looking at my dashboard of clients or bookings, everything flows into 17 hats. And then I'm able to take 17 hats, and manage that particular person, right? From the moment that they become a lead, where they're actually in my system, all the way through when they're a client. And some of the things that were chaotic for me behind the scenes, I know that I'm not the greatest bookkeeper in the world, right? And that's why you hire a bookkeeper, because that's their lane of expertise. Great at project management, amazing at fractional operations, but not so much on the bookkeeping side. And so, what I needed, I had specific parameters and deliverables that I needed my particular CRM to deliver in terms of what I selected. And so, 17 Hats gives me that. It integrates with my QuickBooks and communicates back and forth without any issue. It communicates with Google without any issue. So, I can track and see email communications without any issue. But most importantly, I was able to manage proposals being submitted and the follow up for those proposals and contracts directly through the system by just programming kind of what my preferences are for communications, as well as from a financial standpoint, knowing that whatever payment method that we put, payment plan that we put in place, as well as methods, would be accepted, one. And two, it would follow its own cadence and schedule, and I could customize that based off of the services that they provide. And some of that, most of it, could actually be automated for me, which is great. And so for my firm, I realized I just wanted to manage my relationships with my clients in one place, but I actually wanted to manage my actual client projects in their either preferred system, or my preferred project management system. So for the things that I needed, right, you may be in construction, you may be in accounting, you may find that you have certain software tools that you utilize that really are designed and tailored specifically for your industry. And so, but so they aren't the most they aren't the most flexible options when it comes to managing actually the clients and contracts pieces. And so that's where the client relationship manager can come into. And that's why a lot of freelancers, entrepreneurs, and small business owners choose to utilize a CRM to manage their relationships. And then they actually use specific industry software to manage whatever their scope of work is going to be. We have some firms, right? Even large Fortune 500 companies, they use Salesforce. That is a form of a customer relationship manager. So it looks a little bit different from everybody, but we manage our customers one way, and then we can manage the things that we do in another platform. And sometimes those things don't have to be coupled, they can come in one. And so what we always advise is mapping all this out so you understand what your bare minimum requirements are before you select a CRM or software that may or may not necessarily be the best fit based off of your workflows and how you prefer to set things up. And so for us, having that one finish line really eliminated all the silos and going here and going there. From a financial standpoint, we were able to cut costs from software and workflow perspective with our team members. We were able to really streamline what we did and do it more efficiently. And so that we don't have anyone wasting unnecessary time on things that didn't necessarily add value to the work that we do and that we specialize in. And so now we have one organized system and we know where all of our leads are. No more chasing, no more following up. And guess what? No more drop batons, most importantly. And so now we're excited to say that we are 17 Hats ambassadors. So, having had this application as part of our processes for over 7 years, we've been able to watch the pipeline move in real time. And so now we're going to pause the presentation briefly, and then we're going to come back and look at 17 Hats itself. So we are back. This is the 17 Hats home screen. We're going to start here for a brief overview. And what I recommend for anyone looking at a customer relationship manager, especially if you happen to be utilizing AI to support you in your business development or structurally or operationally, is to really look at what they offer. And so what I'm going to say is when they all have this sort of button here. I love 17 Hats because it's upfront and you can see everything very easy. You can explore the features and you can explore the integrations. Those are the two big parts that I like to look at when looking at any CRM, and I recommend you do the same. And so here's what 17 Hats with. It goes from anywhere from helping you with organization, documents, money, branding, email, time management, online scheduling, lead management, and reporting, all from one feature suite, which is beautiful to see. And so, what does that actually mean? It means that when I have clients, I can manage the client individually. But if that client has three different projects, so for example, they want me to do a strategic plan, they want to do a strategy session, or pick my brain. They want me to manage their internship program. And then they also want me to plan a community retreat. Those are four separate services that I offer them. And they all have different ways in terms of I engage with people with contracts and proposals, communications kind of back and forth. Some are more straightforward, others require a little bit more dialogue. And then the invoicing is a little bit different, right? A couple of those items you pay up front. And the other items, they need to be in a structured payment plan that we agree upon. And so I'm able to not just manage the client, but I'm also able to manage and view things individually per project. And then I can tag those people at any time so I know what type of client, what year I've met them, for example, how I met them. There's pipelines, which we're going to dive into. I'm going to show you quickly in a moment. And then one of the things I really, really like is that my team can be involved. I can add team members. So, for example, I utilize Agomas HR for all of my human resources needs. And so I'm able to add my HR manager to my system, and they're able to see what they need to be able to see and engage and do contracts with employees, right? I'm also able to add in my accountant, for example, and my project specialist and assign them specific roles. And they're able to see just the things that they need to see. And what's nice is that's very customizable, and it allows you to be able to proceed at your level of comfort. also have multiple brands. So as a project manager and who offers fractional operations, it means that if I'm managing operations for three different organizations, each of those organizations I can integrate into their Google suites, watch the communications go back and forth, manage vendor and contractor relationships on their behalf and contracts, all of the things all from one system. And so, for example, I time block. And so, what that means is I'll work 2 hours for one client, 1 hour on another client, 2 hours on another, and then I can transition to my system and my business development that I have to do to see what on my end it needs to be completed, all from one application versus coming in and out of different things. So it works perfectly for the type of business that I have. All of my invoices, contracts, questionnaires. As you can see here, 17 Hats offers you a lot of different documents, management opportunities from a financial standpoint. We talked about bookkeeping accountant not being my ministry, but my invoicing, especially the reoccurring billing feature, is very, very important for me. Customized payment schedules, you can even tip on here if you're in an industry that accepts tipping or needs that to be part of the process. And my branding is always on point because my domain is there, my customers get their own individual client portals, and everything can be customizable with my fonts and colors, specifically even with my logo. If I'm doing it under different brands, I can also have that particular brand or that particular client brand show up as well so that it's seamless in terms of how we engage and I engage on their behalf. The email tracking is amazing as well. And what's also a perk here is that you get free default templates. Now, if you're in different industries, there's some pre-templates that you can purchase from some of our 17 Hats partners, but you can also just utilize the ones that are included. They're very robust, and it goes from anywhere from email templates, contract templates, questionnaires, and intake processes, invoices. It's all there waiting for you. Time management is a big piece of it as well. Our to-do list. So myself and my project specialist, we go back and forth and can assign each other things to follow up on. And when I log into my dashboard, that's one of the first things I see in terms of anything that's pending. As I mentioned before, we have client portals and advanced workflows that we're able to do. So a lot of steps for certain services are almost seamless for the client experience. And then on my end, it's often just a check-in. And the biggest bonus here is that all my online scheduling now lives in one place. And also with my video engagement with Zoom, it's all integrated into 17 Hats. So you set it up once and it's rinse and repeat. You don't have to do it again. And then lead management, which is why a lot of people utilize this, especially as freelancers, we don't want to drop the baton anywhere, right? So we want to follow up and follow through, making sure that we get to that finish line. And the PM Six Sigma Black Belt in me loves the reporting side so I can keep track of what's going on. Even on the financial side, if I don't want to log into QuickBooks that day, I can take a quick glance and see what's going on from the reporting features. So as you can see, 17 Hats is amazing. I will also share a code that will get you 50% off your first year if you decide to transition into 17 Hats, but they do give you 1 week for free. So I encourage everybody for any CRMs, if you're considering multiple, try them all out. See if it works for you, the look and feel. Now, really quick, I'm just going to take you in so you can take a quick look at what it looks like when you look at the dashboard. So this is the screen that you see. It's empty. This is my demo. I can't show you the live stuff. But as you can see, it's broken out. I can see my dashboard, my calendar, whatever calendar I'm integrated into, whether it's mine or my clients. It'll tell me what's past due, what's coming up. Reminders will be here, and let's take care of business. And then there's client activity and pending items, right? Things that we have to follow up on. I can see which clients have opened invoices, taken care of invoices, or past due on invoices, right? All of those things. And then I can see all my contacts and even my leads that are going on. Again, this is a demo. What's nice is my leads automatically come in, but I can manually add leads individually. But there's a nice little feature here where I can import bulk leads as well, which is really, really cool, as well as having customized lead capture forms. Remember when I told you all of those lanes, the intake form might look a little bit different depending on where they're coming from, but at the end of the day, they all flow through here. And I'm able to look at projects, calendars. What I wanted to give you a sneak peek at is their pipelines. So if you look here in their pipelines, mine's pretty much look like this. when you get started, you're able to build two different pipelines. And pipelines are important because they help you visually be able to see where people are in your process. And so I like to look at my leads, right? These are the people that there's a contract that hasn't fully been executed, that haven't necessarily accepted my proposal. Remember, they're interested in my services. I just got to drive them in the right direction. And so I have three different lead pipelines that I utilize. And those are for depending on the type of proposals, right? So people are just coming in. Sometimes I'm submitting requests for proposals, right? I'm submitting to a public or private entity that's asking for certain services and wants you to submit. So I like to keep track of those to see where I'm at in the process and also how many I've won, how many I haven't, how many I have to circle back to. And then I also do that on the unsolicited side, which means that, hey, sometimes I notice something about an organization or a private business, and I could see that it could definitely benefit from some of the services I offer. And I say, hey, this is what I do. I think that I could help you resolve X, Y, and Z or improve A, B, and C. And so I do that for the leads, but I also have client pipelines as well. So I can track where client project work is. Did we sign the contract and get the deposit? Great. Are we working did we assign a project manager to that particular project? Are we working on the project? Did we close everything out? And so I'm able to track and see how and where my resources internally need to be allocated in my time in particular. And as you can see, there's to-do list features, the documents, workflow, and bookkeeping. It's an amazing system that works really well for me. It could potentially also work really well for your organization, or another CRM might work just as well. The key here, and me being able to utilize this the most efficient way possible, is by knowing how I want that customer to engage with me and how I want to make them move. So, how can we support you all who have sat through this webinar workshop? Well, here at TAMS, we are invested in your success. And so as a thank you to all of you for kind of sitting through this, we're going to have a link in the comment section. We're going to have a link in the description of the video here on YouTube. Please take a chance, take our survey. As a gift for giving us some feedback about this, we're going to give you the first session of our three-part CRM series to support you with figuring out all of the questions. And if you fill this out completely and thoughtfully, you actually have an SOP that will actually guide what your intake process looks like from the time someone is a prospect and interested in your services potentially, all the way through they're an actual client. Okay. And so our three-part workshop series is what we want to build with you together. It's not going to be a crash course. It's not just going to be full recordings. I would say you're going to have to dedicate some times. Our workshop series is broken into three different sessions over the period of 3 weeks to allow you to get the work done. Each session is a couple hours long and covers a very specific topic. And so the first session, we focus on the inquiry to intake. What does that look like in building it out? And so you'll have a head start if you complete the survey and get the worksheet ahead of time. Then the following week, you come back and we focus from the intake to the actual follow-up. What does that look like? What do we want follow-up in emails? What do we want all the systems and workflows and the scheduling? What do we want that all to look like? And then we're going to close it out with the actual full client life cycle. And so that looks like contracts, invoicing, onboarding. This is going to be race day, right? We want you to leave by the end of the third session with the end-to-end client relationship system ready to run. Our team will be here to support you. And what's a bonus is I know 2 hours for certain organizations and business owners can be a lot. And so these sessions are all pre-recorded. So you'll have the recordings on demand at any time, but you still have the opportunity to join us for the live group reviews where we'll talk through all of those items that we have in the pre-recordings and be able to deep dive into your individual organizations to support you in ensuring that you're able to launch within 3 weeks and having it fully flushed out. Plus, as a bonus, you get access to our training lab, where no matter where you're located, your support system is going to be there in between sessions. You get to network and have conversations with colleagues, but most importantly, you have direct access to our administrative team here at the Answer Management Services. And so we want you to claim your lane and join the series today. Scan this QR code. Scan this QR code to unlock Scan this QR code to unlock the TAMS Training Lab today. You're going to get the next steps, tools, and resources that are going to support you with staying in the race. So first, you scan the QR code, take the race. Take the survey. At the end of that survey, you're going to be able to unlock the TAMS Training Lab. You'll get a special QR code. That QR code is going to get you into our course with a special discount for the actual course that happens. And again, as I mentioned, you get complimentary access to the TAMS Training Lab. So it was amazing speaking with you all today. I look forward to seeing you stay in the game, and we're always here ready to support you with strategies, systems, and solutions.